Welcome back. In today's industry recap, WestJet is expanding its route network, Etihad Airways is breaking its own records, and British Airways has unveiled a new first-class suite. Why not begin there with the continued investment from the British carrier to its onboard product in a bid to regain customers' trust after a very challenging last decade in which brand reputation, some would argue to you, has gone down the gutter. The UK flag carrier has unveiled that all-important new first-class seat that will be introduced to customers in the coming years, with a hope that it will elevate customer satisfaction levels. Furthermore, by implementing the new first class, British Airways says it will become the only European carrier to offer a first-class product from London to the United States. The suite, as it should be referred to, will combine what the airline says is elegant designs with expert British craftsmanship to reflect an experience that focuses on travellers' modern requirements. Following the announcement, British Airways says that the cabin will form an integral part of an ongoing retrofit program and is expected to be installed on the world's largest passenger plane, the A380, in mid-2026. This investment is part of a broader initiative, however, that aligns with a £7 billion transformation effort that is currently ongoing to elevate that British Airways brand that I talked a little bit about at the beginning, that some would argue has certainly been struggling of late. Moving actually to the seat itself, British Airways says it will have substantial space. In fact, the ultra-wide seat will be 36.5 inches wide. The bed length extends to 79 inches. The seat will feature a multi-purpose ottoman with a stow table. Furthermore, emphasis has been placed on offering customers entertainment with a 32-inch 4K TV screen. Away from this, there will be adjustable mood lighting, which will actually be tailored to include specific scenes to basically match what's taking place at the scene or within the cabin, and this could range from relaxation to dining and even to cinema viewing. The seat can be adjusted with the touch of a button, and the airline says that comfort is of paramount importance. The 60-inch curved wall is essentially to cocoon you and ensure that maximum privacy can be achieved, but also trying to, wherever possible, make sure this feels like a spacious environment. British Airways says that the curves throughout the seat take inspiration from actually the wings of Concorde, an icon of the skies that now we know no longer flies. The curves should give the space a natural flow and ensure that it is welcoming. Privacy has been part of many airlines' new first and business class suite reveals in the last couple of years, as companies look to move to the times and respond to what their customers want from an upper class experience, and privacy has certainly been high on that list. Ambient lighting will feature, while there'll also be other subtle features that'll nod to Concorde and this plane's profound impact on our industry. The suite will also feature window blinds that can be activated by buttons on the internal control panel. Do not disturb functions will also elevate the passenger experience, and there'll just be more space on hand to enjoy this upper class flying. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. Is this an improvement for you? And are you excited about the direction British Airways is taking its aircraft? Or are you just reserved because maybe you feel you'll never fly this, so it doesn't really matter all that much to you, and you're interested to see the continued work to maybe economy class? Over to WestJet, who are only continuing to beef up their network in 2025. I feel like they've been featured here on the channel quite frequently of late, and it's because they're continuing to announce new expansion efforts. This time I am taking a look at transborder connectivity, which we know for an airline like WestJet is always going to be important. The Canadian carrier says it will offer thrice weekly non-stop service between Vancouver and Austin in Texas from the 11th of May next year. WestJet says the commencement of this route will be pivotal in allowing the company to unlock the massive business potential that is there, but also tourism too. Meanwhile, according to the carrier, those returning to Vancouver from Austin can experience the cultural exchange and vibrant city life that obviously Vancouver has to offer. WestJet says it's hellbent on enhancing its connectivity across Western Canada, and expanding recently its summer schedule is the optimal time to do so when we know demand is at its absolute route peak. Enhanced connectivity will be now offered between the Greater Vancouver area and the southern part of the United States, making, you'd like to think, travel more affordable. At least this is what the airline is hoping to achieve. The service, like I touched on, will operate thrice weekly with a 6 p.m. departure from Vancouver and a next day arrival into Austin, just 17 minutes past midnight, local to, of course, these respective cities. The return flight will depart for the first time on the 12th of May. Wheels Up is scheduled for an 8 a.m. departure with a 10:38 a.m. touchdown back into Vancouver, the route part of that broader commitment from the airline to expand its 2025 summer schedule that was unveiled in the last few weeks and highlights a lot of significant growth across the United States, with a lot of focus also on departures out of Vancouver. In fact, during this peak travel season, WestJet says it'll serve 15 destinations across the United States, equating to 93 departures from Vancouver. New routes will include the aforementioned and focused service to Austin. However, this will continue with daily flights to Boston and once weekly service to Tampa. While yes, focus on transborder offerings will always be important, the company has really emphasized more so your coast-to-coast flying, and that is definitely highlighted through service being offered to Boston and Tampa, as I touched on. Over to Etihad Airways, who have actually made history themselves with a highly anticipated route expansion announcement, which has been revealed as part of their growth targets. The Abu Dhabi-based carrier you may have seen has long been teasing the announcement of 10 new routes for over a week, hinting that 2025 was expected to be an important year for new markets to join that ever-growing global network. The carrier is looking to grow the global destination portfolio with 10 new locations that will bring the total to over 90 in what is being labelled as a historic and largest expansion at one single point. These new routes are all slated to launch next year, and the airline confirms that it does also fulfill a promise made by the company to provide guests with a route map that is not just an industry leader, but actually can cater to the requirements it sees on a day-to-day basis. Furthermore, Etihad is emphasizing its own responsibility to help grow Abu Dhabi as a location that is renowned for hospitality and somewhere in the world that people want to come and visit as a business and tourism hub. That is arguably a massive focus for many of these airlines within the Middle East. How do you convert transiting passengers to passengers that actually come for their holidays? The new routes will be launched with a varying degree of aircraft types, ranging from single aisles to wide bodies, each plane having a role that is fantastic for the airline to reach these new markets. Expansion will be seen towards the United States, with Atlanta, a major metropolis. Meanwhile, there will be enhanced connectivity to Algeria. Northern Thailand is also on the focus, with ancient temples and a vibrant nightlife going to be offered. Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, will be added to the network as well. Hong Kong services will be offered, with markets, a rich culinary scene, and important leisure and business traffic to be captured. Next, there will be southern Thailand, which is equally important, and a lot of this major expansion certainly does focus on Asia, with Cambodia to feature, Taipei, and will even go as far as Tunisia, which has many World Heritage sites and the opportunity to learn more about ancient history. It'll be an exciting year for Etihad Airways, and one to certainly watch closely. How are they going to continue developing? How does all this align with Journey 2030? And what do their results truly look like, from passenger load factors to much more? Thanks for watching, take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time for your latest industry news.